incredible work to build the battle fleet of our future. Thank God for them and for the sailors who will ride and drive and those beautiful ships. We also met yesterday with industrial divers at Dominion. They not only do they dive, but they also used motorized technology that goes into the sea and does the work under the water that is needed for our energy, our offshore, and countless other sectors that rely on our oceans. Our workers are brilliant. They are hardworking. They are determined, and they are patriotic. And there used to be a deal in this country for them. A deal that if you work hard, you get a great life. That every young person who gets out of bed in the morning, gets educated, gets a job, can start a family, own a house, not just rent one, and buy great food, meat and potatoes on the table every single night. That's how it was in Canada. Anyone who worked hard had that great life. The other day I met an airline attendant who told me that he and his girlfriend had just given up on having kids. They're in their mid-30s. They said there's just no way the math will ever work out for them to have a house and kids. He works 3 jobs, and his girlfriend, or she's still his girlfriend, soon to be his wife, she has a good job as well, but they can't afford to live anywhere in the GTA. When I arrived in Halifax, I met a chef who's living in a tent because he can't afford the skyrocketing rent in Halifax, which has had among the worst housing inflation in the last 5 years of Liberal government. I met a mother at a workshop yesterday who was in tears because she says every time she goes to the grocery store, she's shocked at how much the prices have gone up and she cannot afford groceries anymore, even though she works hard every day. Mark Carney said he would be different. Instead, he has been worse. He said he would be judged by grocery prices. Since he took office, grocery prices have been among the worst offenders for inflation, rising by far faster than the 2% target. More and more people are forced to line up at food banks, cut back on their diets, and sacrifice their families' nutrition as Liberal prices continue to rise. Mark Carney said he would spend less, yet his first spending bill increased the cost of government by an astonishing 8%. In fact, Justin Trudeau left behind a $40 billion deficit. Mark Carney, who can't even figure out how to introduce a budget, is now on track to double Trudeau's deficit. In other words, and this is almost hard to say out loud because it sounds so unbelievable, but Mark Carney is even more expensive than Justin Trudeau was. What we see at the same time is purchasing power going down. $60 billion of investment, a record sum according to the Financial Times, has fled Canada since Prime Minister Carney took office. That is a net exodus of investment. That means our money will be creating jobs for American and other foreign workers rather than for our workers here in Canada because of the high taxes and bad economic management of Mark Carney. Meanwhile, as our young people have a quarter-century high in their unemployment, Mark Carney this year is expected to bring in a record number of temporary foreign workers to take the jobs of Canadian youth, driving down our kids' wages and their ability to earn a living. So while he drives up the cost of housing, preventing them from owning homes, he drives down their wages by allowing greedy multinational corporations to bring in low-wage foreign workers that take away Canadian jobs, including in high unemployment regions of this country. Crime and chaos rage on our streets as every single catch-and-release Liberal law remains in place, and Mark Carney has done nothing to stop it. And Mark Carney globetrots around the world, signing fake declarations that mean nothing and secure nothing for Canada, all while the United States and China are trampling all over Canada with tariffs. His weakness abroad is costing us at home. Now, I did take some satisfaction in winning the debate on the carbon tax. Of course, I led the great Conservative team in an Axe the Tax campaign that everyone dismissed but then had to reverse themselves. And Mark Carney, the father of the carbon tax, who of course was the one who advised Trudeau to bring it in, was forced on the eve of the election to reverse himself and promise to do as I said and axe the carbon tax. But I warned Canadians then he would bring it back when he no longer needed your vote but still needed your money. And sure enough, here we are today. Mark Carney is bringing back the carbon tax to Carbon Tax 2.0. He calls it the Clean Fuel Standard, Clean Fuel Regulations. According to the Parliamentary Budget Officer, it will add 17 cents a litre to your gas. What did the last carbon tax add to your gas? 17 cents a litre. The new tax is starting to look a lot like the old tax. And Mark Carney thinks no one will notice. Well, Conservatives have noticed, and that is why we are announcing today that we are making it a priority to boost take-home pay and reverse the Liberal cost of living crisis by opposing Mark Carney's Carbon Tax 2.0. We want to axe all carbon taxes for good, for real, for everyone, forever. We want to increase your purchasing power because we know it's not just gas and diesel. Everything that comes in a truck will be more expensive when you tax fuel. And if you got it, a truck brought it. So we need to get rid of the carbon taxes altogether, make our lives affordable again, restore the deal that Canada had with its young people and with its seniors, that if you've worked hard, you get a great life, you can buy a nice house, you get good food, you get to live in a safe neighborhood. That's what we're fighting for. And this fall, our priorities are very clear. Stronger take-home pay to reverse the Liberal cost of living crisis, safer streets to reverse the Liberal crime crisis, secure borders to reverse the Liberal immigration crisis, and a self-reliant Canada to bring home the $500 billion of investment that Liberals have sent abroad. We want this to be a strong, self-reliant, and secure country where we earn our living, we stand on our own 2 feet, we supply ourselves with our goods, we harvest our resources, where paychecks grow faster than the cost of living, where families are founded, where they can buy homes, they can live in safe streets, where kids can play street hockey and come back in and eat their food, including their broccoli, after a great evening out in a beautiful, affordable community anywhere in this country. That's what we're working for, and my message to Mr. Carney, we will work with anybody from any party in order to make that vision a reality. We want to cooperate with any party that will help us do it. So join with us. Adopt the Sovereignty Act that we propose. Get rid of the carbon tax. Let's eliminate the wasteful spending. Let's toughen our laws and lock up the criminals. Let's do it together as a Team Canada approach in a way that works for the benefit of all Canadians, regardless of party status. That is our mission. That is our goal. Let's get it done.
Thank you. Now questions from the floor.
Hi, I'm Jean with CBC P.E.I. Could you speak more about Gail Shea for me, the impact she had on the country as a person, as a politician, and why it was so important for you to be here today for her funeral?
Thank you very much. First of all, Gail was, I think she was about, 4'5", but boy, did she ever pack a punch. And she fought for Islanders. She believed in and loved the people of this island. Every day, she would show up to Cabinet and caucus and fight for the people on the island, fight for the fish harvesters, for the potato farmers, for the workers, for single moms. She came with stories of people, incredible people from the island that had inspired her to serve in public life. She loved to be in her garden. She loved to grow food, and she always had a big, beautiful smile on her face, no matter where she went or what was going on. I have not met a single person that didn't love Gail Shea. She had a big, beautiful heart. And you know, when I was going through hard times in life, I would often call her, and she would fill me with encouragement and mentorship. And so it's with great sadness that we lay her to rest today, but she will be remembered as a great Islander and a great Canadian. Thank you.
Et en français.
Merci beaucoup. Gail Shea était une grande patriote. Elle était un partisan de l'île qui était chez elle. Elle travaillait constamment pour des gens dans l'industrie de la pêche, des fermiers et des travailleurs de l'île Prince-Édouard. Elle était quelqu'un avec beaucoup de courage et quelqu'un qui avait un gros sourire tout le temps. Elle était là pour ses collègues et tous les Canadiens, et c'est avec une grande tristesse que les conservateurs vont dire au revoir à une grande Canadienne, et j'offre mes condoléances à tous ses proches. Merci.
Raphaël de Radio-Canada. Le premier ministre Carney a indiqué hier que le projet de port de Churchill, Manitoba, et celui de Contrecœur seraient priorisés dans les grands projets nationaux. Est-ce que ça envoie le bon signal d'un nouveau marché qu'on essaie de développer?
Tout d'abord, j'ai annoncé il y a 3 ans qu'il faut développer le port à Churchill. Donc, je suis heureux que finalement les libéraux ont remarqué l'occasion. Mais toujours avec M. Carney, c'est les grandes promesses sans résultat. Il est le premier ministre depuis 170 jours et 0 en termes de projets cristallisés ou concrétisés. 0. Rien n'a été accompli. En fait, on regarde Allemands. Les Allemands ont bâti une usine d'importation de gaz naturel en 194 jours. C'est-à-dire, ils l'ont bâti au complet en 194 jours. M. Carney est premier ministre depuis à peu près la même période du temps. Il n'a même pas annoncé un seul projet dans ce temps. Donc, il est un grand parleur et petit faiseur. Et je ne sais pas pourquoi ça prend aussi longtemps juste pour décider où vont les projets. Je m'inquiète que M. Carney va avoir des grandes annonces des projets à travers le Canada sans aucun résultat. Et pour l'instant, on voit que l'investissement au Canada quitte le pays. 60 milliards de dollars d'investissement a été expulsé depuis l'arrivée au pouvoir de M. Carney. Et ça, c'est un chiffre net. Moi, je propose à M. Carney, dans une grande collaboration, adoptons une loi sur la souveraineté canadienne qui permettrait de rapidement bâtir des pipelines, des ports, des usines de gaz naturel, des centrales nucléaires, d'élargir nos ports au monde et de le faire pour tous les projets, pas juste les projets soulignés par les politiciens. Nous sommes, et aussi, éliminons la taxe sur les gains en capital pour les réinvestissements au Canada afin d'inciter le retour des investissements à notre pays. Moi, je serais prêt à permettre à M. Carney à prendre tout le crédit pour ça. Je lui dis, volez mes idées. Prends mes idées, mettons-les ensemble, oublions qui prend le crédit, faisons-le pour rendre le Canada plus sécuritaire, plus souverain et plus autonome. Merci beaucoup.
In English?
Well, I'm glad that Mr. Carney has noticed my proposal from 3 years ago to develop the port of Churchill, which I proposed back in the spring of 2022. But what I find incredible is that he has been in power for 170 days, and not only is there not a single shovel in the ground on any of these projects, there's not even firm proposals for these projects. Let me put this into context. He was in Germany. The Germans built, from concept to completion, an entire LNG import terminal in 194 days. That's about how long Mark Carney has been Prime Minister. And he still doesn't even know what projects he wants to build, or how he's going to build them, or which companies are going to do the building. So what I think you're going to see from Mr. Carney is more big promises without any action. It's more liberal show business rather than getting it done. And I would say, don't confuse activity with achievement. Mr. Carney has been frantically jetting around the world doing photo ops and signing phony declarations that are unenforceable and have no money attached to them. But in 170 days, he doesn't have a single project underway, while $60 billion of investment, Canadian money, has fled our country, mostly to the United States, impoverishing our people and enriching foreign workers. So what I'm saying to Mr. Carney is I'm extending the hand of friendship to all parties. Adopt the Canadian Sovereignty Act, which will rapidly legalize pipelines, mines, LNG plants, ports, open our economy up to the world. It will get rid of the capital gains tax on any reinvestment that is done in Canada to make our economy roar. Our workers will have paychecks that grow. Our economy will be self-reliant. And I say to Mr. Carney, steal my ideas. Take the credit for it. I'll help you write the bill. You can be the one to introduce and pass it. Let's just get it done. It's time to stop stopping and start starting.
Good morning, Maria Saru, CTV News.
Good morning.
You're really stressing the importance of pipelines in our sovereignty. So
Yes.
why or why not would you be supportive of optimizing TMX so its capacity exceeds 1 million barrels a day before another pipeline is built?
So I agree with the first clause in your sentence. Should we optimize TMX? Absolutely. Let's increase the volumes that go through the Trans Mountain Pipeline up to 1 million. Let's do it yesterday. But that still won't be enough. We have the capacity to pipe 2 or 3 million additional barrels of oil to overseas markets. So let's do all of it. And, you know, I find it a little bit strange that TMX, which is still controlled by the government, is trying to shut out competition. And I don't know, I hope this is not a signal that Mark Carney is sending to the pipeline company the federal government controls, that they want to block competitors from also having pipelines. Remember, the TMX CEO has an interest in this, because if there are no other pipelines built, he can charge higher fees on the oil that goes through his pipe. So let's not pretend that he is just an objective commentator on this. We need more pipes. We need a pipe that goes from Hardisty to the Pacific, either in Kitimat or in Prince Rupert. We need a pipe that should go all the way to St. John, New Brunswick. We should have a pipe that goes to Churchill. We should have all of the above, because we have more than enough oil to reach all of the markets of the world. While the Americans have doubled their oil production in the last 10 years, ours has been flat, as Liberals wage a full war on oil and gas. So the only way you're going to get any of this done, though, is by repealing the anti-pipeline law C-69, the energy cap, the industrial carbon tax, and all the other laws that prevent us from producing more. Because the companies will not fill any pipeline if the government bans them from producing more oil, as Mr. Carney has pledged to do. I have a solution, because we want to propose solutions. Pass the Canadian Sovereignty Act, which will allow us to repeal the industrial carbon tax, the anti-pipeline, the anti-shipping, the other anti-development laws, and unlock the potential of our country so that we can become strong, self-reliant, and independent.
Final question.
Morning, Mr. Poilievre.
Yes, good morning.
From The Guardian. So the clean fuel regulations, they're focused on major oil companies like Irving. Wouldn't getting rid of it be more of a benefit to bigger oil companies and perhaps their bottom line than consumers?
They pass it all on. And in fact, the parliamentary budget officer said that the refiners, the upstream producers, and the distributors will pass all of it on in a 17 cent a liter increase. So bottom line is the big companies don't really care that much, because they know the consumer will end up paying the price. It's always the case. So, and that was just the same with the wholesale carbon tax. Sure, it was technically charged on the wholesaler, but what did the wholesaler do? Passed it on to the retailer. And what did the retailer do? Passed it on to the consumer. It's always the consumer that pays liberal taxes. So we should axe the tax. And I should add one thing I forgot to mention. Ça, c'est une taxe qui s'applique au Québec. C'est pas juste une taxe à travers le Canada comme la première taxe carbone. Ça s'applique au Québec. Ça va augmenter le coût de l'essence de 17 sous le litre. Il faut l'éliminer. And finally, I have to apologize, I forgot all about this. The electric vehicle mandate will be another Carney tax of $20,000 a car that kicks in starting next year. They want to start forcing 20%, a minimum of 20% of car dealership sales being electric, with a $20,000 tax on every internal combustion engine above that. So look at the combination of things. Mr. Carney and the Liberals want to raise your gas price by 17 cents, raise your car price by $20,000. How does he expect us to get around? Atlantic Canada is largely a rural region. The Carney ban on gas trucks and vehicles would effectively shut down most of Atlantic Canada. And that's why Conservatives will also lead a charge against the gas, truck, and car ban. We want you to be in the driver's seat and have total freedom in what you buy.
Thank you. That concludes today's press conference.
Thank you very much.